If you're looking for help fixing your town and country gas fireplace, look no further. Our comprehensive town and country gas fireplace repair guide will explain common issues, provide tips, and maybe show you how to repair your appliance. My pilot stays lit but eventually goes out. For sealed direct vent fireplaces, blockage in venting can cause the fireplace to shut down. Birds, bats, mice, and other vermin are sometimes known to build nests inside, on top of fireplace terminations, because the fireplace cannot expel the exhaust or cannot get enough oxygen. The flame will starve for air, and eventually, everything will go out including the pilot light. This will happen within minutes of initially turning on the fireplace. One way to verify this is to try running the fireplace for a short period of time with the glass removed or cracked open slightly. If it runs fine with the glass off or opens a bit, you can defiantly determine it has an issue with the venting, most likely blockage that needs to be cleaned out. Another reason your pilot may cut out could be related to your pilot light flame. After you first turn it on, the fireplace will start to create a draft as the chimney heats up. If your pilot flame is more candle-like and less blowtorch-like, you may see the draft start to affect the pilot flame as the fireplace heats up. My pilot light will not stay lit. It should be blue and intense, and the flame should engulf the sensors surrounding it. This is important because those sensors need to be at a high enough temperature to keep the gas flowing to the pilot. Note, some fireplaces will not have a thermocouple and a thermopile. Some fireplaces just contain a thermopile. The same idea applies to this setup as well. It all starts with a healthy pilot flame. If the pilot flame is not healthy, it will not engulf the thermocouple or thermopile, and the result a pilot that won't stay lit once you stop pressing in the pilot knob. If you determine that you have a bad pilot flame, you can either clean out your current one with a wire brush, cheap but not long-term, or replace the pilot assembly orifice and hood. Cleaning it out would require taking the pilot assembly apart, taking the pilot orifice out, and cleaning everything with compressed air and the pilot hood with a wire brush. Resistance test. One way to test if your main control valve is bad is by testing resistance. We can do this with our digital multimeter. First, let's make sure it is in the correct setting. We watt it in ohms. Setting ohms is basically a term that refers to resistance. This is sometimes shown in symbol form omega. First, you need to find 0, but touch your multimeter leads together. If it reads anything other than 0, you'll want to subtract this number from the number you will read on the valve. To test the valve, disconnect all wires from the TP and TH terminals. Then place your meter leads on these terminals. Typically, for this next test, you may be experiencing random occurrences of your pilot going out. This test is for the sit valve only. It is a way to check and see if there is something wrong with the valve and not the thermocouple itself. How does the wall switch affect the fireplace's function? Millivolt gas fireplaces have a pilot light that heats up a sensor commonly called a thermocouple or thermopile. The thermopile and thermocouple generate electricity when heat is applied to it, not much. Actually under 1 volt. This small amount of voltage is sent to the wall switch. When you flip the switch on, it will send that voltage back to the fireplace and signal to the fireplace to turn on the flame. What can happen over the years is that the connections inside the switch can get dirty, corroded, or broken, causing a loss of this voltage at the switch. So by the time the small amount of voltage gets sent back to the fireplace, it is not enough to signal the fireplace to turn on. Removing the glass assembly. The easiest way to find out how to remove your fireplace glass is to locate your owner's manual. Most manuals have step-by-step instructions that are specific to your fireplace on how to remove and clean the glass. The bad news is that if you are like most fireplace owners, you do not have a manual. The good news is that most fireplaces were designed for easy glass cleaning with some sort of quick release system. If not, a few screws can be removed to remove the glass frame. Most often, they are spring-loaded clams that you can undo without any tools. Some may require lifting up and will remove fully. Others have spring-loaded clips hidden under the louvers that must be pressed in order to rotate it down. And if your fireplace is old enough, you may have to remove screws that hold the louver on, so you will need your all-in-one screwdriver. If you have to remove screws, just be sure you do not strip them, as you will have to reinstall them in the end.